What's going on, guys? CGG Matt back. Read the title today. I have some X factors, some keys, and we're just going to go over and preview the conference finals for both sides of the bracket, and I'm going to give my predictions. If you are watching this video and you enjoyed at the end, like, subscribe. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the Eastern Conference Finals first, the Pacers versus the Knicks. A couple small things I want to throw out there. I like the idea of this series because these teams are very close to each other. I had a very tough time making a prediction in this series because of the fact that they just are really close in terms of talent level. They both have one superstar and then one lesser superstar, I would say, but a very consistent offensive contributor, Pascal Siakam, Karl-Anthony Towns. And then they both just have a bunch of complementary role players that are just really damn good at their job. Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, Miles Turner. All these guys, these productive role players that they have surrounding these stars. These casts are very well built, and they both play a very different style of basketball. Obviously, you think about Pacers, you don't even have to add the RS to the end of their name. Pace. That's the name of the game for the Indiana Pacers. They want to get out, they want to run, and they want to score quick and easy. And then you look at the Knicks, their offense, a little bit slower. They rely on some offensive rebounding. They rely on getting open threes through penetration from Jalen Brunson. And they rely on trailer threes from Karl-Anthony Towns, as well as a lot of corner threes from Mikal and OG. But they play a slower pace than Indiana does. Indiana loves to just get out on the break and beat your ass in transition. A couple of stats I got to throw out at you. I wonder how the Knicks are going to slow down this Pacers offense through the playoffs. They've been maybe the best offense in the playoffs as a whole. They are currently, as a team, shooting 50% from the field, 40% from three, and over 80% from the line. 40% from three as a team. Over 50% from the field as a team. That's just insane offensive efficiency. The Knicks are going to have to do their best to stop that and take them out of their transition game, which is a lot easier said than done. I believe that the Knicks do have the necessary pieces to slow down a Tyrese Halliburton type, whether it is Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. I would believe Mikal Bridges gets the Tyrese Halliburton assignment to start. The matchup will probably be Mikal on Tyrese, OG on Pascal, and then Turner Cat. And then Brunson's going to be overguarding one of the two between Nembhard or Nesmith. I would assume Nesmith. Nembhard is he's tough, man. Andrew Nembhard is a very tough cover in the playoffs. In the playoffs is all I'm going to say. Regular season Andrew Nembhard, he's a great player in his own right. He does some things. But playoff Andrew Nembhard is capable of running an offense as well as defending at a high level. Incredible player. The Knicks offense works best in transition. You watch that a lot in the Celtics series. Even after made baskets, it'll be outlet pass to Josh Hart, and Josh Hart is instant offense in that transition. When he gets downhill, he's either getting to the free throw line or he's going to find a shooter in the corner. He did that a lot during the Boston series. Even after made baskets, he was beelining down the court with the ball, and whether he, managed to find OG on a kick out to the corner or Brunson on a trailer three, or even if he just took it, into the teeth of defense for a layup, it's efficient offense. It's the best look that they have gotten. The best looks the Knicks have gotten have been in transition. Who would have thought? When the defense isn't set, you get better looks. But how do you get out in transition? Well, you kind of have to get a stop a lot of the time. I know I said after made baskets, but the most efficient form of transition offense is after a turnover or a miss. And the thing with the Pacers is if they're shooting 50% from the field, 40% from three, you're not getting many misses. There's not many defensive rebounds to clean up if the shot's going in. The Pacers don't turn the ball over. They've been one of the best teams in the league at keeping the ball and not turning the ball over. The Knicks need to be able to force turnovers to be able to get out in transition. I think that's one of the keys to it. Can they force the Pacers to finally play sloppy basketball? Because nobody's really been able to stop them from playing their brand of basketball all playoffs. Now, I know the narratives that have been running around, the Pacers haven't played a healthy team. They can only play who's in front of them. And at the end of the day, whether there was Dame or not, they still had to face Giannis. They beat Giannis. They still had to go on to the second round and face Donovan Mitchell. They did very well against Donovan Mitchell, even though Dono was averaging 40. They did a really good job at still being able to cause the turnovers and get out in transition and do their thing. They can only play who's in front of them. And it's similar to the Knicks. People point at the Knicks route. They say, well, they played a weak Pistons team. They were down Jaden Ivey, but it was still a good Pistons team. And then they go into Boston. They get to face, Jaylen Brown with a torn meniscus, Kristaps Porzingis, and then Tatum tears his Achilles. I understand the narratives that, the East was weak. Look at who's representing it. But these teams deserve to be here. The Knicks beat a very impressive Pistons team, and they went on and they beat the defending champs, albeit injured or not. They still had a game 1 comeback from down 20, a game 2 comeback from down 20. So there's still a lot of potential that these teams come out of here, and they are very strong. Especially Indiana. I've been hyping up Indiana for a while, saying that they're playoff risers, but it kind of has been the case. Pascal's been incredible defensively. I don't think anyone's talking about Pascal Siakam's defense of recent, probably because they haven't played in like a week. But Pascal Siakam's defense has been incredible in this playoff run, I've noticed, at least. I looked up some other articles and like Bleacher Report articles, stuff like that, to see who other people's keys to this series were, and a lot of people said Mitchell Robinson. Understandably so. He essentially won them that series against the Celtics with his ability to grab them offensive rebounds, play in crowded areas, and guard the paint very well, as well as switch. He was doing a really good job on the perimeter. He had one really impressive play on a closeout to the corner where Jaylen Brown had a wide open shot. Jaylen Brown, being, I'm going to be honest, a little bit slow, decided to dribble and then try and shoot, but Mitch had already gotten there for the closeout. Mitch trapped him in the corner, and it forced a turnover, I think, on a deflected pass. Mitchell Robinson's had plenty of impressive plays in this playoff run so far. Can the Pacers get him off the court? I understand that, because if the Pacers are able to run in transition, as much as I love Mitchell Robinson, he ain't keeping up with them in transition. He's going to struggle to stay on the court, and that double big lineup could get run off if the Pacers' spacing actually works out. Like, Miles Turner is going to be camped behind the three-point line like normal. Is he going to be able to hit those threes? If Miles Turner can stay hot from 3, it might play Mitchell Robinson off the court, because Miles Turner, while he's not the best rebounder, he could still lay a body on somebody. But I do agree that the rebounding battle is the big matchup for this Pacers versus Knicks series, because the Pacers aren't the best rebounding team in the world, and the Knicks are a very, very good one. Think about Josh Hart, Cat, OG can clean the glass. They got a bunch of bigger wings, as well as Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns, who clean the glass very well. I agree that Mitchell Robinson is a very big key to this series. If he gets played off the floor with his free throw troubles or the spacing aspect, because the Pacers have a lot of spacers. I hate that Pacers sounds like spacing and pace. Too much going on there. But if the spacing can knock Mitchell Robinson off the floor because he's not closing out well enough, or he's getting beat on the closeouts, that's going to be some trouble for the Knicks, because their offense works best when they're either out in transition or getting second chance points. It's not the most efficient half-court offense. So if Mitchell Robinson can find his way to make an impact on this series like he did against Boston, guess what? The Knicks can win this series again because of Mitchell Robinson. However, if you're going to get round 1 Mitchell Robinson, who had a couple of good games, but overall had a couple of really bad ones as well, if you're going to get that Mitchell Robinson, I don't know. I'd probably have to take Indiana in that circumstance. But I don't even think Mitchell Robinson is the big key for me. My big key is, for the Knicks at least, can Mikal Bridges play good? I think about Game 4 against Boston. He led that comeback in the fourth quarter. He had like 15 points or whatever just in the fourth quarter, right? If he's able to do what he was doing against Boston, which it was the same thing every time he got the ball. Get 2 feet in the paint, fade away over Derek White. Get 2 feet in the paint, fade away. He did it every possession. And then eventually, because he hit, 2 or 3 mid-ranges from 2 feet in the paint area around the free throw line, guess what? You can back it up to the three-point line, and now all of a sudden he's hit 2 threes as well. If Mikal Bridges is unable to score the damn ball, it's going to be a brutal series for the Knicks, because OG's already struggled with his shooting as well. He's shooting I checked the series against Boston. He shot like 34% from the field. Not pretty for OG, but Mikal Bridges is better offensively than OG Anunoby, in my opinion. He should be, at least, because Mikal's able to create off the dribble better than OG Anunoby, in my opinion. But OG is a more consistent three-point shooter. But my key is, can Mikal Bridges be an offensive piece? Because obviously their best defenders, Nesmith, Nembhard, are going to be doing a lot of their guarding on Jalen Brunson. They're going to have to look at Jalen Brunson, and Cat's going to get defensive attention as well. Can it be the other piece, Mikal Bridges, in my opinion, 5 first-round picks? Can he be as effective as he was against Boston in Game 4? Because he can steal games. He can get you 30. It's very in and out for Mikal, and they need him to be there offensively, because how easy the Pacers score and how high they want the score to be. Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns are not going to be able to score $130. They need some guys in there who are able to also score the ball, and that's where Mikal Bridges comes into play for me. Who is my key for the Pacers? It's Miles Turner, plain and simple. If he can remain hot from three, he's shooting like 40% from three in the playoffs. If he can remain hot from three, Mitchell Robinson is going to get nullified right there because the Pacers do have a double big lineup with Siakam and Turner, and if Turner can knock down that three, it might play Mitchell Robinson right off the court, and then Cat is not the most fleet of foot, and on those pick and pops, you'll see Miles Turner here and there pump fake that three and drive hard to the rim. I think about that poster dunk last year, I believe, on Brook Lopez. He might have had 2 in the same game. If you get offensively aggressive Miles Turner, who's still hitting his threes as well as attacking closeouts, the Knicks are in trouble. But also with that, I also think Miles Turner needs to stay out of foul trouble. Because guys like, I'm going to be honest, Thomas Bryant cannot be on the floor that often in this series. The Pacers cannot afford to be rolling out TB out there for, 28 minutes because Miles Turner's in foul trouble. They can't afford that. Another one I had for the Pacers, I know I had 2 for the Pacers, 1 for the Knicks, whatever, was will Rick Carlisle shorten these rotations? Obi Toppin has been in these playoffs is the best word I can use. However, it's a revenge series against the Knicks, so maybe he has his revenge series, 20-point per game Obi Toppin. Now, Obi Toppin has some good offensive outbursts here and there, but he is very bad defensively, and if you're stuck in a half-court game against the Knicks, Jalen Brunson's going to take advantage of that bad defender on him. OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns are going to take advantage of Obi Toppin. I just wonder, will the rotations be shortened? TJ McConnell's been pretty bad in these playoffs too, which is incredible to say because TJ McConnell has never been bad before. But in these playoffs, I just haven't noticed TJ McConnell very much at all playing good minutes. So you got to wonder, will Carlisle shorten these rotations? Or are we still going to get, the 9-man, 10-man lineup going into Game 4? I don't know. So those are some keys for the Eastern Conference Finals. My official prediction, I'm picking the Knicks in 6. Why? Because I don't want the Knicks to make the finals, and I want to be wrong. It's called a reverse jinx, buddy. Get used to it. No, my real opinion is that Tyrese Haliburton is the key to the Pacers' whole game. And Tyrese Haliburton, when he scores like sub 20, the team isn't as fluid. They don't work as well. And so he needs to be active. But the thing is like I said, the Knicks have 2 wings, Mikal and OG, who they could stick on Haliburton, and they do damn good jobs. I watched them harass and hound Tatum and Brown for a majority of that last series. And in the playoffs, ain't no superstar whistles. So the defenders get the benefit of the doubt. Guys are getting mauled out there by those 2, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take the Knicks in 6 because they have the ability to guard a Tyrese Haliburton in a half-court setting, and they have the ability to slow the game down as well. We can move over to the Western Conference Finals, talk about the Timberwolves versus the Thunder. How about that Game 7 for the Thunder yesterday? Absolute snooze fest. The Denver Nuggets started out 21-10, and I was like, all right, Denver, we got some life here. Very quickly went downhill. I think the first quarter ended with like a 20-10 run. That's not great for the Nuggets, but their season's over now. A couple of keys to the series I have. The Thunder are a big team, Hartenstein, Chet, but they don't have like bulky size. You know what I mean? Like Jay Will, it has some decent size, but do they have anyone who can individually match up with Julius Randle in a one-on-one? Because you look at how Julius Randle played against the Warriors. It was literally the same thing every play. I'm going to back you down. I'm going to get 2 feet in the paint. It's either going to be a fade. It's either going to be a fade from about the free throw line, or I'm going to drop step you right under the basket, and I'll get a free layup. Chet Holmgren has very good size. He's a very big guy. We know that. He's over 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. But he isn't the biggest guy width-wise. You saw Aaron Gordon take advantage of that, bully balling him quite a bit. Offensive rebounding-wise, he was getting killed by AG too. And you got to think Aaron Gordon is a very, very, very good player. But I don't even think Aaron Gordon's as big as Julius Randle is. Julius Randle has the ability to push around to Chet Holmgren. But also at the same time, Chet does have the size and the smarts to be able to, Julius Randle's going to put him under the basket, but Chet still has the length, athleticism, and smarts to block that shot. Randle's bully ball essentially won them the Warriors series, so I'm curious as to how OKC plays that. That's what I mean. Who's going to be the starter against Julius Randle? It's probably going to be Chet Holmgren, isn't it? Because I like Lou Dort. Lou Dort's got a lot of size, but I assume Dort is probably going to be starting on Anthony Edwards, maybe, or maybe Jaden McDaniels. Not sure. because Caruso's obviously another hell send defender. Speaking of hell send defender, I looked up the stats for Anthony Edwards against OKC in the regular season. Yeah, Anthony Edwards averages a smooth 22 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, but you look at the splits, you see he's shooting 36% from the field, 31 from 3, and 83 from the line. The free throw line, 83%, that's pretty good. 31% from 3 is well below what Anthony Edwards shot in the regular season, and 34, I said, from the field, or 36? 36 from the field. That's just not good for anybody, period. So you see Dort, Caruso, J-Dub, they're able to defend. They have been, at least, able to defend Anthony Edwards well enough. And it's been I've been impressed by what OKC did in that last series. However, if OKC shoots the way they did like against Denver, this series could be over in like 6. Denver was a very bad defensive team in the regular season. They were like bottom 10 in defensive rating. A pretty bad defensive team. And they made the Thunder look like a bad offense at times. And that's worrisome to me. And it's mostly because they just said, screw it, we're going to send 2 at Shai. And if he makes the right playmaking read, first of all, they're forcing him to be a playmaker, where Shai isn't a bad passer, but he's also not Luka Doncic. He's not Nikola Jokic, where it's like, hey, we're sending 2. He's not LeBron, where it's like, hey, we're going to send 2 at you, and you know where the ball's got to go. Shai's not that not that type of passer. He's not that level of passer yet. But even if he did make the right read, you notice, okay, we'll let Lu Dort take that 3. Okay, Alex Caruso, go ahead, tee that one up wide open. Go ahead, Chet, have that 3. They really pulled a we're going to let everyone else beat us. And they did in Game 7. Everyone else really did their job in Game 7. But you saw the lack of a second star with J-Dub struggling. That's against a 22nd ranked Denver defense. I'm very curious as to how that offense is going to work when you have to face Gobert, Naz, McDaniels, Alexander Walker, Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley. Like, it's a very good defensive team in Minnesota. This is not the same defensive team you just faced in round 2 in Denver. It's a lot better. Matchup-wise, I'd assume Jaden McDaniels is going to get the go against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which is a very fun matchup because, well, length against length. Shai's a very big guard, and Jaden McDaniels is just a very big individual, period. He's like 6'10 or something like that. Another question mark I had going into this, obviously, a lot of people put up J-Dub, and that's so understandable. J-Dub was awful for a lot of that series against Denver. I know I said awful a lot, but that doesn't even feel like enough. Who will be that second star? Because honestly, we saw a consistent second star in Minnesota all in that second and first round series for them with Julius Randle. He's able to control to handle the ball, not turn the ball over a ton, make good playmaking decisions, and be able to get his scoring going as well. When you see J-Dub kind of floundering in some areas. On the counter argument to that, though, Minnesota does struggle when they don't have Ant-Man and sometimes, Bite Mike Conley on the court. When Uncle Mike's off, sometimes they struggle with ball handling and turnovers. And OKC is a team that thrives on forcing turnovers. That's like the best thing they do. The Wolves averaged about 15 turnovers per game in these playoffs so far. That's like bottom 5 of any playoff team. And OKC has a very stingy defense. They force a ton of turnovers, obviously. But if Minnesota's already averaging 15 per game against Golden State and the Lakers, they might struggle even more with turnovers against a team that is the best at turning you over. I think Mike Conley plays a very big part in this series because he's a low turnover guard. He doesn't turn the ball over a ton, but he may struggle defensively against that very lengthy OKC Thunder team. You think about J-Dub and Shai, they're going to be trying to get Unc Mike on an island, and from there, I don't know if I like that matchup. Another question mark I have is which center is going to be really the one for Minnesota, because you saw in the Lakers series, Gobzilla Rudy G kicked his wife out. That's a W in the chat. No, it's not. I'm kidding. But you saw Rudy Gobert against the Lakers played really, really good, especially in the closeout game 2020. You know, he's able to get a ton of offensive rebounds, and if he's able to dominate the paint, I mean, that's game over. If Rudy Gobert is dominating you, I don't know what to tell you. But then you look at the other portions of the series, and Naz Reid has been fantastic in this whole playoff run. Naz Reid has earned a bag this offseason, I'll tell you that much. He's shooting over like 40. He's shooting well over 40% from 3. He's hitting it from everywhere and anywhere. It feels like he hasn't missed a 3 in these playoffs, to be honest with you. Naz Reid has been on the money. I'm just curious as to which center will have the bigger impact for them. Hell, they might even run both. You know, they've done that plenty of times before. They'll run Randall and Nas. They'll run Randall and Gobert. They'll run Nas and Gobert. You know, it's a revolving door in that front court for them. Now we can move into my official prediction. I am predicting the Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games. I think the Thunder learned a lot about themselves in that round 2 matchup. It looked like they'd seen the damn boogeyman at times. You saw them just outright choking at some moments, especially fourth quarters late. It was really a battle of the fourth quarter with Denver. So they just had to put in game 7. They just had to put the game to bed before the fourth quarter, so that way they didn't even have to worry about blowing it in the fourth quarter. But the reason I'm taking OKC in 7 is because, like I said, I feel like they learned just a lot about themselves in that 7-game series against Denver, especially with how stingy that Nuggets defense made them look, and they were just dying by, all right, we'll let anybody else take a shot that's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it worked out for them. The role players got a little bit more confidence now, though. You see that in Game 7 when guys like Lou Dort and Alex Caruso are making threes and Aaron Wiggins is doing his part, you know. So it looks like they've seen kind of their ghosts, and that was the toughest series that I think they're going to get, maybe. But I've been very impressed by how the Thunder handled the Game 7, especially Nikola Jokic played like 8 Game 7s in his career already, you know. So they took that inexperienced squad and still managed to get through it. I just think that the Thunder also force a ton of turnovers, and while I love Julius Randle, he's not averse to turnovers. Turnover averse, I guess. I don't know. He does turn the ball over. He's not shy of turning the ball over, and the Thunder, that's what they do best, is get turnovers. I just really like the matchup for the Thunder, but I can see Minnesota walking out of it with this one as well. Anthony Edwards has that ability to flip it on, and when he's getting 40, there's nothing you could do about it. But I like OKC's ability to guard Anthony Edwards, and I like OKC's ability to guard Julius Randle and to force him into bad turnovers. If you can get Julius Randle into his own head, you've won the series. Talk to me down in the comments. What are your predictions for these series? Who are your keys to the series? Let me know down in the comments. Just talk about it down there. You know what I'm talking about. If you've enjoyed, like, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited for these conference finals. I'm going to go catch the game. I'll see you guys in the next one.